Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Pennsylvania, Brendan Boyle. He is the ranking member of the House Budget Committee. So thank you so much for being here, Congressman. So I want to get your reaction to the second attempt on former President Donald Trump's life. The Republicans are blaming the rhetoric of Democrats, your party, for where we are right now and the violence that he's been subjected to, the violence that he's been that was attempted on him.
Yeah, well, first, I'm very glad that the Secret Service, by all accounts, did a wonderful job in the second assassination attempt. It looks like the lead group of Secret Service agents who scout out any location before the protectee goes there were the ones who discovered the would-be assassin, and they were able to neutralize him and then eventually capture him. So I give them credit. It stands in real contrast, of course, to the first assassination attempt, where there was obviously an operational failure. Now, in terms of the overall rhetoric of this political climate, any claims from either Donald Trump or J.D. Vance or other supporters that it is somehow Democrats who are inflaming the rhetoric, frankly, is just disingenuous. I mean, just look at that small town, Springfield, Ohio, right now, where school events have been canceled and children have had to be sent home from school because of the stories that by their own admission they are creating just to incite hatred of Haitian immigrants. And that is one of probably hundreds of examples I could give you of times in which leading Republican figures, including Donald Trump, have been inciting hateful rhetoric.
Well, I want to say specifically they're talking, Republicans, about the Democrats calling him a, quote, threat to democracy. What's your response to that? Is that language maybe problematic in your mind, or do you think that that's the proper description for someone who maybe some would say carried out January 6th or at least, you know, inspired people to do that?
Yeah, you were just going to take the words out of my mouth. We are literally a few blocks away where, as Liz Cheney famously put it, Donald Trump summoned the mob, and it stuck them on members of Congress, including myself. More than 140 U.S. Capitol Police officers were injured as they spent many hours battling thousands of pro-Trump insurrectionists. Yeah. Are we supposed to pretend like that didn't happen? Donald Trump, even right now, is saying he would refuse to accept the results of this election unless he won.
Yeah. I want to ask you now about the campaign trail. The latest poll in Battleground, Pennsylvania, shows Vice President Harris with a 3-point lead over former President Trump, though it's within the margin of error. But in that same poll, voters said they are worse off today than they were 4 years ago. Is the vice president's message resonating, you think, with people in your state of Pennsylvania?
Well, I was just with Vice President Harris literally 2 hours ago in my hometown of Philadelphia. She's been there many times. I do believe Pennsylvania will ultimately decide this election. We were a 1-point race in 2016, a 1-point race in 2020, and I think actually things are that close again this year. In terms of how the economy is going, the news continues to get better and better. Yeah. There's more work that we have to do, but the last thing we should do is turn the keys over to the last crowd who the first thing on their agenda was to take away Obamacare from 30 million Americans. Then they followed that up with a tax cut, 83% of which went to the richest 1%. They're not for the middle class. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are.
Well, Congressman, I want to ask you about my favorite focus group, which is my mother. She texted me during the debate and said, "What is fracking?" And Trump criticized the vice president for flip-flopping on the issue of fracking. You've been supportive of the Green New Deal. Are you comfortable with Vice President Harris's change on her policy stance on this issue of fracking, where so many Americans, including my mother, are learning about this issue?
Yeah, well, it's funny. My favorite focus group is my father, so perhaps we should get the two of them together and conduct a real focus group. I have to tell you, I was a state legislator in Pennsylvania for 6 years before I became to Congress. I voted in favor of fracking. That is the mainstream position, even among Pennsylvania Democrats. Our Democratic governor, our 2 Democratic senators, and most of our congressional delegation support it. It mostly takes place in western Pennsylvania. But the development of the natural gas industry in Pennsylvania has been part of the larger agenda for weaning us off more unsafe and dirtier sorts of energy sources. I think Kamala Harris ultimately arrived at the right position. It's the same position she's had as vice president, and she's made clear she will continue that position as president.
Yeah. Well, I also want to ask you about Congress. Speaker Johnson said today that the House will vote on that 6-month stopgap funding bill that includes legislation requiring proof of citizenship to vote. Is the Speaker working in good faith, do you think, to get a CR passed before the end of the month, especially when he knows that this bill is dead on arrival when it comes to the Senate?
Yeah. The Speaker is spinning his wheels, attempting to forge a majority of House Republicans to vote for anything. But it's a crowd that has shown time and again over the last almost 2 years, they can't get 218 for anything. So the reality is he's wasting his time, he's spinning his wheels. The sooner he comes to the table to negotiate in good faith with congressional Democrats, then together we'll be able to avoid a government shutdown.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Congressman. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.